Yo, 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 we are back. Another episode of Leaf with the Legends podcast. Man, I'm joined today by a good friend of mine. We got Milwaukee legend, we got sports media legend, we got the CEO of Midwest Ballers, man, John Bertram, man. JB, thanks for pulling up to the pod.
Man, thank you for having me. This is an honor, man. I definitely appreciate you having me on here.
Oh man, you already know, man. And before we get into it, I peeped the hat, I peeped the sweatshirt, and I know that you are a diehard Bucks fan.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about this breaking news, man. What's your thoughts on them letting Adrian Griffin go before All Star?
Oh man. I feel a little bit bad for Griff, even though he's still gonna get paid.
Facts.
But I think he was just put in a bad position. Being a first time coach. Things started off rocky from the beginning with Stotts leaving. I think it was just a really tough spot for him to be in. Especially after that Dame trade, that really raised expectations, like the win now mentality for the Bucks. But the one thing I like about John Horst, our general manager, is that when he sees something that's not really working with the Bucks, he like he jumps in there, right? He wastes no time, whether it's player personnel and making a trade, somebody doesn't fit or somebody's available. He's out there, he's making it happen. Same thing with the coaches. If things ain't working out, he's not gonna waste any time to shake things up. I'm kind of excited about Doc Rivers. I don't know if that's been made official yet, but some confusion last night. But I'm kind of excited about Doc. He's a bigger name coach, got a ton of experience. Went to Marquette, familiar with the area. Um, Seems like a pretty good leader. Um, got championship experience, coached a bunch of superstars before. Um, so I mean, I'm excited. It's a little bit crazy,
Yeah.
to be to have the Bucks in the news for this, but I still got confidence in my boys. I still think we got a very good chance.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, and it's like I me personally, I thought that they would have given Griffin at least a full season. Um, and given the like you said with the Dame Lillard trade, like that happened. He had. I mean, a lot of the knock was that the defense. But when when we signed Griff, Drew was still on the team, and we know how important he is to that defense. Well, both ends of it, but mainly the defensive side. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I definitely want to get your take on that because I know you a diehard.
Yeah, I mean, I would have, if it was me, I probably would have, let him at least play, see what happened in the playoffs. But
Yeah,
then again, I'm not in the locker room. I heard some rumblings about some things going on in the locker room. So, maybe it was just his time.
it's what it is.
Right. He's still getting paid, so shoot.
We gonna have three coaches on the payroll.
Yeah, I saw that on my ticker earlier. I'm like, man, the Bucks got to pay three coaches. This is crazy.
Hey, we better bring home that trophy.
Make up some of that revenue, right?
Exactly. All right. So JB, man, I came across a picture of you back in the day, a basketball picture. You rocking some Concords at university school, man. When did you first like fall in love with the game?
Oh man, I've been playing ball, like organized ball, since like fourth grade. Um, I really didn't fall in love with the game until probably around sixth grade, though. I was more into baseball.
Okay.
I was just a natural at baseball, but um, sixth grade is kind of when I fell in love with the game. It was funny because that was the year when Mike Dunleavy Jr. Uh, came to university school when his dad was hired as the Bucks coach. Um, so when Dunleavy came, like there was like he was already Cold in 6th grade. So there was a lot of hype around him coming to our school, and his dad was the coach. He was actually our assistant coach too in 6th grade. Um, and there was a lot of players who used to come through and practice in our gym. So me kind of being around that, I would be at Dunleavy's house playing ball, seeing all his memorabilia. I mean, signed Magic Johnson jerseys and all type of stuff. That's when I kind of really fell in love with the game, just around that time.
Makes sense. No, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I remember those. I remember those times. I remember those times for sure. Mike Dunleavy had, like you said, when he had some G early, early.
Yeah,
Yep,
sure it did.
yep. No, for sure, for sure. So you go to you go to university school for high school, then you go to UWM. So what did you study while you were at UWM?
Oh man, it was. I actually was at Carthage College
Oh,
first
card. Okay, okay,
because I also played football. I was an all-conference DB at University School. Only played my senior year there, um, and had a couple colleges looking at me, including Carthage, um, and wanted to, try to play college sports. So I went to Carthage, played there for 2 years. Um, Funny because I was an all conference DB. I went to Carthage, switched to wide receiver because I just, that's more of a glamorous
sure,
position. I always wanted to play that in high school, but never got the chance to. Um, Ended up playing behind like an All American wide receiver. So didn't see much time on the field during those 2 years. So my interest in playing and the time commitment, I was like, okay, this isn't for me. Then after that, went to UWM, changed my major like 2, 3 times. Started off as a computer science major, wasn't feeling that. Switched over to sports medicine. That didn't work because you had to have all these hours on a practice field and in the training room, and being an athlete, I really didn't have that much time. So then I switched over to education when I went to UWM, and then stuck with that.
got you, got you, got you. So what made you want to start doing hoop mixtapes?
Oh man. Well, I've always like had a camera in my hand from way back, probably going back to 4th or 5th grade. My mom worked at a school, so she had access to like their different audio visual equipment. And so I'm like, oh ma, can we, use the camcorder to film us playing basketball? Or so she would, rent out the camera and we'd be in the driveway filming ourselves, playing it back, making little silly home movies, in the
For
backyard,
sure.
and all that type of stuff. So I always, had a video camera and was filming us as kids. And then that carried on into my late teens and my 20s when I started coaching, um, doing recruiting of other teams or scouting, excuse me. Then I used to put together little highlight reels for the players at the end of the season. Um, but what really made me like make it official and start like an actual business um, was around 2010. Um, This was the time when JP Tokoto was just going into his junior season. And Ball is Life actually reached out to me. Um, they wanted somebody in the Milwaukee area to cover, players like him, Deontay Burton, Looney. We had a lot of young talent. I mean, we still do, but at that time, that was around the time when Hoop Mixtape and Ball is Life were kind of just getting started. And we had some tremendous athletes. So they wanted someone in the area, to cover those players for them. Long story short, um, they were supposed to send me a camera out and some other stuff because I didn't even have a camera at the time.
Mhm.
They just found some videos I did on YouTube with just like my little rinky dink camera or whatever. Um, and they told me, I was like, I don't have a camera. They're like, oh, we'll send you one out. they never sent one out, so I was a little discouraged. Like, oh man, I can't. I'm not gonna work for Baller's Life, but at the same time, I was like, why don't I just get my own camera, start, do my own thing because we got talent here, and so that's what I did. You know, eventually heard back from them, but it was at, by that time I had already set my mind. Okay, no, I'm starting this as Midwest Ballers. I'm doing my own thing here. Thanks, but no thanks. So that's kind of how it all got started, really.
Nice, nice. Can you remember what was that first equipment?
Oh man, man, it's funny because I think I still got that camera somewhere. It was probably like a $20 little like flip camera that I got from like Walgreens. They used to have the stuff like
Yeah.
hanging by the checkouts, like, oh,
Yep.
get the little camera. I'm like, this will work right here. You know what I mean? So it was something like that. It was some off-brand name, and you know,
I hear you.
some rinky dink, but I made it work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, you gotta keep that one for the archives, man. That's you put that one on the mantle, man, for
For
sure.
real. Yeah.
That's the OG. That's the OG. I love it. I love it. Man, how have you seen so you say you started in 2010-ish, that around that time. How have you seen the game evolve since you first started?
Oh man. Well, it's kind of like mirrored the NBA to me a little bit. I remember starting off, and even going back to when I was younger, like the big emphasis on defense, you know, team defense as well. I mean, I remember early on games, there was high school games, would be 45 to 43, or, very low scoring games, a lot of full court presses, trapping. Um, I've seen the game kind of move away from that, and a lot of it is offensive, oriented, focused on the 3-point ball. A lot of 3-point shots nowadays compared to 2010, 2011. Not too much slapping the floor on defense. I don't really see that a lot anymore. No king style presses. I see a couple teams that do it nowadays, and those teams that do it are really good teams. But that's the main thing that I've noticed. Like, move away from like that really gritty, tough defense. And now everybody's chucking up threes.
Yep. Yep. They look at the analytics, right? They're like, oh well, three for two.
Right. And they like, if we get hot, we catch fire, you know.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like how the game is evolving because I am still kind of, old school in a sense. Playing under someone like guys. Uh, it's just certain principles that I don't see in today's game. And it's like man, like come on, man, like defense, like it's a saying that my assistant coach used to always tell us. Offense gets you girlfriends, defense win championships. And and you can do both, you know what I mean? But like some people just want the girlfriends and want to shoot. So I don't know. I just think the game is becoming a little bit too pretty and just too cool. Too cool. Like, yeah, you can be cool, but you can be a dog. You can be a cool ass dog.
For real. Yeah, I definitely, and I enjoy watching those type of players, even though they're rare nowadays, but I especially liked them back in the day. And like you mentioned guys and King. I mean, I used to really enjoy that press that King used to put on. I mean, and it was relentless. And to see how like other teams would adjust to it if they could break it. But I just enjoyed that, the intensity, the laying your body on the line, and you know, working hard for something that wasn't a bucket.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was more teamwork. The bench was more live. Nowadays, I look at like the bench of a team, and players aren't even hardly clapping for their teammates anymore.
Exactly.
And I'm
Exactly.
like, what's going on? What's
Yep.
going on?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different time. Definitely a different time. So JB, I've seen you cover everything from like regular high school games to middle school games, AAU, charity, you name it. So like, what would you say are your favorite types of games or slash events to cover?
Hmm. My favorite, I probably am partial to high school hoops.
Okay.
Um, during the season, the regular season, just because with AAU is such a grind. Um, you know, with all 3-4 games on a weekend. Now, what a lot of people don't realize when you're filming 3-4 games on a Saturday, that means I got to go through and edit 3-4 games worth of footage, which is very time consuming. I mean, it takes me about as long to go through and sort the footage as it does, the length of a game. If I'm filming a game for 1 hour, it's going to take me another hour just to go through the footage. Times that by 4 games,
Right.
I'm sitting there for 4 hours just going through footage. That could take a toll on my eyes, my neck, me sitting there at the computer, going through footage. And AAU's got a little different feel. With high school, you got the crowd, the home fans. You got teams playing for their school. And some schools have a long history compared to AAU teams. Might be relatively new. And just in AAU, there's a lot of bouncing around from team to team. With high school, I get to really see these players grow in the system with their teammates. And of course, it's local. So I like, I love putting on for the city, um, and just giving the kids in Milwaukee, that platform, that exposure. So I would probably say high school basketball is definitely up there for me.
I can see that. I can see that for sure. For sure. Who are some of your favorite athletes to film? Now, I know you done saw a lot of talent, but like, who are some of the ones that just like automatically just stick out like right away?
Um, I mean, we mentioned earlier JP Tokoto.
Man,
Um, he's definitely on my top list. Just you were going to get a spectacular dunk every game, at least one.
that was you had you not to cut you off, but you filmed that 360 two hand. Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. I think
I
that's really
definitely
when I first found out about JP. I think I saw that or somebody's I don't think Instagram wasn't around then, but somehow I saw it. Man, it might have been on YouTube. But
probably.
I'm like, who is this kid?
Yeah, that was funny. It's a quick story about that. I forget what high school. Maybe it was Waterford or excuse me, Waterford fans, if you're watching, some random school like that. It was way out. Um, it was like a blizzard. I was all on these back rows. There was no lights. Like my signal was failing. I don't know how I found the school, but eventually got there. And I'm like, I really hope, JP give me something nice this game. And sure enough, like a few minutes after I walk in, I get up to the stands, hit record, and he does that dunk. I was like, okay, that was that was worth the drive right there. That was definitely worth the drive. So JP,
Yep.
definitely one of my favorites. Trey Jefferson, um,
Yes.
probably like my all time favorite person to film. Um, just his charisma on the court, um, just his size, is 5'7" at best, with shoes on,
Yep.
but dominating on the court. Didn't matter who it was against. Um, Matter of fact, like the higher ranked the player, the more Trey would like step up and elevate his game. Um, it was just amazing to see him dominate at his size with the quickness, the charisma. Um, yeah, Trey Jefferson definitely up there. JP, Who else? Who else? The the duo of Diamond Stone and Dwayne Wilson
Nasty.
um, was one of my favorite duos to film. Um, I got to follow them really closely through high school and AAU. Got a ton of footage on them, and just a ton of access to them. Um, Being cool with Dwayne's dad and him bringing me on a road for playground elite trips, and um, so just seeing them grow from a young age and watching them all the way through high school, put on a show. They love the camera. So I'll be plenty highlights. They'll be pointing at the camera. You get that, JB? Pointing. So I always love that. I don't know how coaches feel about it, but I definitely love when they used to point at the camera, give a Midwest baller salute, and um, those two guys definitely would put on the show. Um, uh, Tyler Hero was another guy who, you know, would always put on the show. And the bigger the game, the bigger the crowd, like the more he would, step his game up. Um, who else? Um, Deontay Burton,
Man
you
child.
know, electric, electric player, you know. Um, who else? Who else? There's so many.
Yeah, that's a solid list right there though, for sure. For sure. So we got JP, Trey, Diamond, Dwayne, Deontay, Tyler. That's damn. Yeah. That's stopping at like what Tyler graduated in 2017, 2018.
Yeah,
So we still got 5 more years of, 6 more years of players, but that just shows you, man, just the amount of talent that we have, just and that's all Milwaukee area. That ain't even covering you know the boonies and whatnot, and then
right.
going up north, north of Madison and whatnot. So we got we
Hmm.
got them we got them real killers around here
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
and I didn't mention Looney as well.
Oh, Looney,
Kavon Looney. He was one of my favorite players to watch. The stat sheet stuffer.
oh,
One of the guys who played that type of defense that we were talking about.
yep,
You know, he held it down on the defensive end. It was like a mini KD in high school.
KD, you're right.
A lot of videos. That's what they called him. The next KD. He was fun to watch too.
Loon was one of the ones for sure, for sure. And I mean, if you first start watching Loon, like when he got to Golden State, you'll be like, eh. But man, we saw it, from the like up close and personal. Like he would give you, like you said, stat sheet. He'll give you 35, 10, 8, and 6, easy,
Right.
easy,
Real.
night in and night out.
Hmm.
Yep, yep. So since 2011, with those names, some of those names, or most of those names that we mentioned, how many views have you accumulated on YouTube?
It's probably close to, I would say, close to 15 million
Mm,
total views. As I mean, I haven't checked in a while. The last time I checked, it was like at 13.5 million.
mm.
So I'm assuming it's probably close to 50. Let's round it up to an
Yeah,
even
we
15 million.
round up. Yeah, for sure, for sure. We'll give you that. We'll give you that. Man, I love it. I love it. Being a pioneer in the sports media world, like who are some of the people who you kind of mentored, to get into the space or kind of gave some of the game to?
Well, I'm gonna start with the people who I learned from
Okay.
as
Yep.
well. Uh, Guys, there was guys. I don't know if you remember. There was a mixtape company called Yay Area's Finest,
Mhm.
and they used to cover like Bay Area
Okay.
with like Aaron Gordon, Juan Anderson, like Kiwi Gardner. And he had a brother, like the two little guards that was real quick. And they used to cover that Oakland Soldiers AAU team. Um, and they would come to Milwaukee to cover the NY2LA tournaments. And from like the very first day, they saw me with a camera. and they like came up to me, introduced themselves, would just like offer me tips, on how to get in events, how to film, where to stand, developing relationships with players and coaches. Then this was like unsolicited. And now, mind you, this was a time when it wasn't as competitive, with like 100 cameras being on the sideline.
Right.
Um, so they just reached out and gave me a lot of knowledge early on. The guys from Yay Area's Finest and also the guys from Hoop Mixtape definitely gave me a lot of knowledge early on. Um, so I appreciate them. Definitely have to shout them out because they put me on a lot of game early when it was like basically us three, and then
Mhm.
Ball of Life as well. But then some people that um, man, there's been a lot. There's been a lot. Um, gosh, I can't even. There's so many. I used to have a lot of guys filming for me back in the day. I know my guy Dre, who does music videos now. He started off with me. Actually, I was his coach, um, and now he does music videos. But he used to film for me back in the day, and I'm actually looking to get him back on the film team to
Yeah.
start filming some more basketball because it's back to just me now filming. Um, I got another guy named Terry Pearson who went to Hamilton High School, helped me film. He moved down to Texas, so I no longer, he can't help me out no more. Um, uh, a guy by the name of Derek Schultz, who does work for the Running Rebels and a lot of community work. Um, there was some guys, the Movement Hoops guys,
Mhm.
I know did work for me before they started Movement Hoops. Um, um, there was a bunch of guys early on who came through Midwest Ballers and picked up a camera and did some film work for me.
No, that's dope. That's dope. No, and for you to be able to, give back, and it's just you paying it forward, right? Because it's like the guys from, Yay area, they didn't have to come up to you and give you the game, so you like, hey, I'm in a position now where I can give back and I can help out. So why not? Right. So yeah, it's dope. It's dope to see it in any realm, whether that's sports, entertainment, business, whatever, like just to see like true OGs, you know what I mean? Because like now we're at that age where now we're becoming a new OG. So it's like, all right, what are we gonna give back to that younger generation? So, I think that's just super dope for you not to just be like, yeah, like I'm the coldest at this, but like I ain't gonna let y'all know what some of the tricks of the trade are. But you like, nah, we all gonna grow. I'm gonna show you how to do this, Dre. You gonna implement that to or you can implement this to your music videos and block XYZ. So I think that's
And
that's
now,
that's
I mean,
super dope.
yeah, and I was getting to the point, cameras and editing software is so advanced now. And like you said, I'm an OG, so I kind of stick with what I know.
Mhm.
But these young guys, if I'm looking to them now, like, hey man, how did what kind of camera do you have? What did you use? So it's coming back full circle now. Now they helping me, learn new stuff.
I love it. I love it. So on that point or to that point, how has social media affected like what you do?
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy because, like I mentioned before, 10 years ago or so, there was only me in the gym filming.
Hmm.
I didn't. There was no other cameras around unless it was like a news station or something like that, or the assistant coach up in the stands filming for game footage. But now I go to some games and there might be 5, 6 camera guys on the sideline and in the stands, and now it's become like a race to see who can post that footage first. And not only that, on social media, you can tag different guys and collaborate with them on their videos. And so now it's like, it's really a race to like see who can get this footage out first. So let me tell you, I love going to games and I look around and there's no other cameraman there. I'm like, okay, I don't have to run home and download this footage and hurry up and go through it. And, you know, it takes a little bit of pressure off. Especially now with me, living a family life,
Yep.
married, two kids, work a regular job. After the game, I'm ready to come home and go to sleep,
Right.
But if there's games where I see like these two, three young guys filming, I'm like, oh man, I
Got
gotta,
to get it.
I gotta stay up an extra hour or two to try to get this footage out here. So, the social media has definitely changed the game that way. Because people are just, posting content as quick as they can record it almost, with some people. I mean, even with phones, I mean, I know with the um the Instagram overtime, the overtime account,
Yep.
they employ a lot of people to just film with their phones now. Phones have, 4K cameras on them now. So everybody basically is a videographer now. So, they have people working with just their phones and boom, like during halftime, they can send their footage right over to overtime. Next thing you know, it's posted on the site and it's the game not even over. Um, so everything is just quickly put out there now, which is taking some getting used to. It's giving me some sleepless nights, but I'm still adjusting to it though.
I hear you. I hear you. Man, no, I can imagine because I remember that 2019 season we had. And you mentioned, the guys from Movement Hoops, like, man, they would like it'd be times where I'm like, are you editing? Like, do you have like did you go in a classroom at the school and like edit it and send it? Because like literally there would be times where like we would play, we would go in the locker room, break it down, have our meeting or whatever, and by the time we could get to like the post game meal with the coaches, like it's already a highlight up, on Instagram. And I'm like a full highlight video, like not just of a dunk or something. Like so I'm like, y'all, yeah, I credit, I respect the grind. That's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. So all right. One more question, and then we got rapid fire questions, then we're gonna get up out of here.
Okay.
The last question, man. Where do you see Midwest Ballers in 5 years?
In 5 years. In 5 years, I don't think my son will be old enough to take over. He'll only be 9 at the time. So, but I'm working on him. He
Yeah.
sits down there. He, sits with me and he, goes through footage and, I'm teaching him about defense and, just the basics.
Yep.
But I don't think he'll be ready by 9. But I hope to have a team of young videographers, by that time. I'm always looking for young people trying to get their foot in the game. So if anybody's out there watching, you got an interest in, filming, sports, basketball, feel free to reach out, and we could definitely work. So I would love to have a team, definitely locally. Um, but and one thing I've always wanted to do is, I mean, my company name is Midwest Ballers. I would love to have people throughout the Midwest, Chicago, Minneapolis, Indiana, St. Louis, all over the Midwest. I would love to have, people all over the Midwest, covering high school hoops. So that would be my main thing. And possibly doing some more like with AAU in the summertime. There is a couple of teams that I've been talking to lately to try to, um, work something out so I can get on the road with them this summer, kind of like how I did with Dwayne and and some of the guys in the past. I'd definitely like to get back on the road and do some more stuff with AAU as well.
Oh, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. All right, I got 5 rapid fire questions. Then we're gonna get up out of here.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. First one. Favorite Bucks player of all time.
Uh, Glenn Big Dog Robinson.
Ooh, tough, tough. Okay, I wasn't expecting that one, but okay, I rock with it. I rock with it.
That's my
Describe
favorite.
what. Hold on. So, did you start liking Big Dog when he got to the Bucks, or what, or like when he was in college?
When he got to the Bucks.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Describe your life in a song or book title.
Ooh, a song or book title. Man, I don't be knowing the names of some of these songs.
All right. You can
um,
sing you can sing or rap the lyrics if you need to, or say the lyrics.
you know what? I'll say that. What's the Drake song? Way, yep, I
I
feel
feel
blessed.
blessed. Okay. Yeah.
You know, every day I wake up is a blessing, man. So, even doing this stuff with Midwest Ballers, doing this podcast with you is a blessing, man. So I just, try to be thankful for, everything that I'm given every day, man. So
Right.
feeling
That's love.
blessed.
That's love. That's love. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, probably, probably flying. Probably flying.
I was gonna say either. I was gonna say teleportation. You can go from this gym to this gym and bounce around.
That would be
Uh,
slick too. That would be
yeah,
slick. But if I can fly, then I'll put the sneakers back on. I'll be running some of these open gyms.
facts for sure. All right, call or text.
Text.
All right, we might have already answered this one earlier, but it might have changed. So, but I had top 5 mixtapes of all time, or
Mine or
or or
just
or five of your favorite mixtapes of all time.
ones that I've produced or just like in general?
In in whatever you want. In general, yours.
Hmm. Okay. I would say,
Oh, you doing just yours, or you doing
no,
period?
I'm gonna do other. I'm gonna think
Okay,
I'll do other people's.
bet.
People. I'm kind of critical of my own work. I'm
I
like,
got you.
you know, um, but the one I will put on the list that's mine is the Trey Jefferson when he was at the Summer Jam
Yep.
when he went off when he
In the
had the doggy
sweatpants.
pants. Yeah, and the
Yep, yep,
sweatpants.
yep, yep, yep.
That was one of the favorites. My favorite ones that I did. Obviously Trey, all his moves and his buckets and everything, but I just happened to find like a perfect beat for that. The crowd was hype, and that was definitely on my top 5. So I would say that Trey Jefferson one. I would say the Trey Jefferson Ballers Life mixtape is definitely up there for me. Um, I would say the Hoop mixtape, Andrew Wiggins mixtape is up there for me. Um, when he was playing for like Huntington Prep and CIA Bounce AU team. Who else? Who else? I would say mm, Brandon Jennings mixtape.
I'm serious. That was yeah.
Yeah, Brandon Jennings mixtape, and then especially when he got drafted to the Bucks, and you know, yeah, yeah. And shout out to Tough Crowd. I'm wearing the Tough Crowd hat, so shout out B Jennings.
Yeah. Shout out B J.
So is that one, two, three,
You got
four,
4. Yep. Yep.
and the fifth would probably be. You know what? I'm gonna go back to my mixes. And I just watched this the other day. It's rare when I go back and watch my own mixtapes that I made. But I'm starting to bring back like Throwback Thursdays.
Mhm.
I want to post some more like older videos. Obviously, it's content, and then just people who just start following me, get them a chance to see some of the stuff that I've been doing. But my fifth one is the Dwayne Wilson Senior mixtape.
Video game type stuff.
Yeah, he went crazy his senior year. He
Yeah.
went really crazy.
Nuts. Oh, that okay, that's a tough five. So you got your Trey, Baller's Life Trey, Andrew Wiggins, Brandon Jennings, and then Dwayne Senior.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'm about to go back and watch all five. I'm gonna watch all five of them after this interview. Yeah, no, that's man, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Hey, speaking of Throwback Thursdays, I think you got some lost footage of me, man, from like an all county tournament or something.
Yes, yes. I do, man. I do. I do. I got so many hard drives. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go look for some of that too.
Look,
You never know when you might get posted up there now, Lee.
yeah, I think I think I stopped playing all county like 2000. No, I started. No, I played all county till about 17, but I think the one of my better ones was like 10 or 11, something like that, or 11 or 12, something like
Well, stay tuned. You never know when that, that might drop.
that.
You never. But yeah, I keep it. I'm a hoarder of footage. I keep all my footage. Um, ever since, and it is crazy, man. I got to get this in before we wrap up. But
No, we good. We good.
oh, okay. In 2012, like in the latter part of the year, man, my computer crashed, and I literally lost everything. This was before I was into like backing up my stuff on a regular. So like all my early JP Tokuto stuff gone. All my early Trey Jefferson stuff gone. Like the early stuff. I mean, it's
Mhm.
still out there on YouTube, obviously, and I've like pulled some of that off YouTube, but like the original files are gone. But ever since that, I've been I constantly back stuff up, double back it up. So I keep all my footage so I got over a decade worth of footage on hard drive. So if anybody's ever wondering or looking for footage, and I've been there, most likely I got it somewhere.
I'm already knowing because man, just your impact, bro. Like for me to watch, you from I won't say from the start, but from an early on with what you were doing, with me being affiliated with, Playground Elite, with Dominican, Nicolay, all these schools, just being around, like, um, but and you mentioned it earlier, like the exposure that you're giving, these youth. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them use these mixtapes for their recruiting. They might be right on that fringe, but they get a mixtape or a highlight film or something put together. It goes on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and then it's just like, this kid did this, so it just changed the game, especially from our time, where we had it was rare to have a highlight. If you had a highlight, like whoever had highlight films, like it was guys like Sebastian Telfair in my class. Like he had like Bassie had a highlight tape, and like he was like, oh shoot, like that,
Right.
but now we're giving you're given that access and exposure to hundreds, damn near thousands of athletes. So man, I just wanted to just wanted to give you your props, give you your flowers while you can still smell them, and just tell you, man, like keep going. I know you ain't slowing down, but I just want to reiterate it, man. Keep going because the city, the state, the region, the nation needs more JBs, man.
Man, I definitely appreciate that. I'm definitely going to keep going. And that's one of the most rewarding parts, of doing this. YouTube doesn't pay a whole lot, in the gig. I haven't become rich, off Midwest Ballers. Not yet. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
yet. It's coming. It's
Not yet. But,
manifesting.
the rewarding part is, seeing the kids who don't get all the looks, whether it's them getting a top play on Sports Center or, a college coach, you know, stumbling across their mixtape and
Mhm.
giving them an offer based off a mixtape. That stuff is like invaluable and, still, is it blows my mind when stuff like that happens. So that's the rewarding part and definitely what keeps me going and it's gonna keep me going in the game.
Man, I love it. I love it, man. Well, hey, there we have it, man. It's been another episode, Leaf with the Legends podcast with the Milwaukee legend, sports media legend, CEO of Midwest Ballers, my dog, my guy, John Bertram, man. JB, appreciate you, man.
Man, appreciate you for having me and wish you much success, man.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Like, comment, subscribe, and remember, be legendary or be lost. Peace.